going. So here we have the Dombrowski girls. This is just an exhibition match. Exhibition means it does not count against your record. Just one of those things. It's more mat time. That's a big thing in wrestling is mat time. Right now, it just kind of looks like a jumbled mess. Nobody really has control yet. To have control, you have to have your body to where you have, well, control of the other person. So as you can see, the official has his hand up in the air. He's holding it there saying there is no possession. I need to wait till somebody is on top, as in right there. 2 is a takedown. You get 2 points every single takedown, which moves on to the back. So once you get on top, you want to move the person towards their back is where you get your other points. Before we get started on the varsity part, I could talk about the team scores and stuff like that so people understand. These exhibition matches do not count towards our team score, I guess I should say. So if you win by 1 to 7 points only, you'll get 3 points towards our team. If you win by 8 to 14 points, you'll get 4. If you win by 15 plus points, you will get 5 team points. That is what we call a tech fall. They will just stop the match automatically once you get past 15 points, unless you can pin them. And a win by pin or a forfeit will give your team 6 points. Okay, so that signal right there is a illegal move. That means that we have to stop technical foul, and it is gifted to the red ankle bracelet.
So in green, that is Grayson Dombrowski. Red, it looks like it's Keegan Dombrowski. Right now tied 2-2 here. 31 seconds left in the second, or in the first period, I should say. Actually make it 3-2. And that'd be Keegan Dombrowski in the lead there.
So when you're on the bottom, right like she is right now, later on you'll hear me start talking. I move a lot when I talk, so it might be a little muffled. When you're on bottom, you want to be able to not go to your back. I guess that's the biggest thing of wrestling. The person on top wants you on your back, just like it happened right there. Stopped by the buzzer. What he called there is a near fall. So that means that you are near a fall, which is also called a pin. You get points per second. If you have 1, 2, and 3 seconds, you are given 2 points automatically. If you get to 5 seconds, it can't count anymore, and they give you a 3rd point.
Here after that first period, and with that near fall, it makes it 4-3 now the score. Grayson Dombrowski in the lead over Keegan. Battle of sisters here.
I know. I don't know if my brother and I could do well at this.
See, I came back from winter break and thought to myself, all right, we'll see what moves Nathan could put on me. And within about 30 seconds, he had me in the cradle. And, there is no uncle in wrestling.
No, there isn't. I know just in practice, these 2 girls, they go at it all the time. Very competitive. I mean, it helps that they're freshmen. I mean, this team overall has done some amazing things as a first-year program. I mean, we're kind of thrown to the wolves. I've seen us wrestle probably 20-plus kids who are ranked in the state or should be ranked in the state.
Ranked in the state, should be ranked in the state. Kids who have been wrestling since they were 5.
Yes.
It seems like 5, 6, and go to all these camps all across the country in the summer, get better. And, you can't really say much. I mean, because they've been, that's all they've been living, eat, they eat, live, breathe, and wrestle, it seems like. And here you got a program that's been running at it for 6 weeks now in us. And
yes,
pretty good job for
really
what we've had as a program so far.
When you look at the kids who are out for wrestling, a lot of programs, they worry about taking kids from other sports and, hurting basketball or hurting wrestling, either way you look at it. And the best thing I can say about this group is we have found over 20 kids that were inactive, and we have made them active and put them a part of something here that is just flat out amazing. Right now we're going to have another exhibition match. It's 2 kids that, to be honest, I don't know which ones they are. But they're just an exhibition match. This is what they do in duels. If you have your kids, as in Ellenwood, we don't have enough kids out there to fill up a whole roster. And here in Haven, they have way more kids to fill 2 rosters. So this is, again, like I said earlier, just time to get mat time. Get on the mat, get some moves in. It's what we call glorified practice, but it doesn't hurt you any. It only makes you better.
Right now, this is the Haven 220 matchup here. I believe it's Tayton Yoder, a senior for Haven. I think he's going up against Lance Lear, junior. Pretty sure I heard those names right, but that's the 220 right now battling for Haven.
This is a weight group that here in Ellenwood we do not have filled. We did at one point, but we don't have that filled anymore, which is a huge thing in wrestling. When we go to like Saturday tournaments and stuff, your weight groups, when you have it full all the way, it helps, but it doesn't really affect you too much. But when you get to a place where you're doing duels or triangulars and stuff like that, you need to have a full roster to have a chance. I mean, just walking in tonight, we're down 5 weight classes.
Yep.
And then that's an automatic forfeit, and that's 30 points. 30 points in wrestling is huge. I mean, that's probably a 30-point lead in basketball. I mean, it's just something that takes a while to get back, and we don't have as much time as they do right now. So.
You mentioned that they're the 220. The other weight classes that we're missing, the 106 in there as well. I believe we're also missing out at the 140. No, we have 2 at the 145. Let's see what all else we're missing here.
113.
113.
There's the 120, and then 195.
Yeah.
So we need some smaller kids, and we need a couple bigger ones. It looks like, but as a first-year program, it's good to see the number of kids that we have. I know that was a big thought going around of who would come out and who wouldn't be coming out.
Yeah.
I mean, just going around talking to some of the kids, they've already told me they regret not going out, and I really hope they do come out next year. It'll help them, help everybody, and keep this thing rolling. I think Coach Roberts has done an amazing thing here working with these kids. The kids love him, and that's what it takes.
And you can't ask for a better coach coming from the Hoisington powerhouse. You think of the Ball brothers in there, Wyatt Pettigo in there as well, and a few more others that have been state champions and have gone on to careers at the Div 2 wrestling level. All the Ball brothers have gone on to Fort Hays. Pettigo football at a North Dakota State with the Fighting Hawks. You know, you can't ask for any better program to bring an assistant coach from to become your head coach here in Kyle Roberts.
No, it is amazing what he has done here. I mean, grabbing something that's never been and putting something that, I mean, right now it could be here forever and ever as long as we'll let it. Right there, what happened is he put his 2 fists together, kind of punched them at each other. That is what we call a stall. That means there's nobody doing anything. If they are doing something, the other person counters it evenly. It's usually not done very often. You will see it in some weird, screwed up situations. The referee might stop it because he doesn't think something else could happen. But more than likely, the referees like to just keep you going, keep moving, make you do something out of nothing, I guess I should say.
Right now, the score after 1 period of action, it's green 1, red 2. Right now, guy from Haven with the undershirt on is in the green. Kid from Haven who's right now on the bottom without the undershirt is in red. So that's your score after 1 period. No score change yet here at the 140 mark.
Right there, that was a reversal. So the referee will roll his hands over and over again, kind of like basketball. If you're, it's a travel, I guess. If you're watching this, you don't know anything about wrestling, but that is what we call a reversal. It means you come from the bottom, and you switch out, and then you can take control on top. It's something that a lot of schools actually take a lot of pride in. When I was in high school, we were wrestling, and it was a big thing. If you could get reversals and how many you could get in a year, and one of those stats that we would just take a lot of pride in.
And there an escape from green there at the very end of that. Right now the score 4-2 in favor of red. There are 2 points awarded to red on the takedown.
Wrestling's a difficult sport to watch if you really don't know what you're watching for. Right there, the guy red has him in a thing called a cradle. Like Alex was saying earlier, it's one of those things you really can't mercy your way out of it. And there's a lot of technique stuff, like we were saying earlier. You know, these kids have been wrestling their whole lives, and we have kids here who are learning things that, you know, we just started at a first grade level. So I told a couple of them, you know, we started as first graders, and right now we're freshmen. I said, you know, we just bumped up a lot of years and a lot of experience very quickly. This is good for us. Right now, Coach Roberts has them all together in the corner. I don't know if we can see it.
No.
No, okay. Giving a little pep talk.
Now, after 2 periods of action, it is 2-8 in favor of red. Green will take bottom here.
So in between each period, after the first one, it is a neutral situation. They both have the same advantages and disadvantages at that point. After the first, referee usually, if it is a tournament, he'll flip a coin. On one side it is red, one side it is green, and you get the choice. So if you have the red ankle bracelet and you are flipped and shown, you get to choose if you want to defer, kind of like football, if you want to defer and receive later, and have the choice, or you can choose right then and there what you want to do when you want to do it. I know today in the duel, we will have something a little bit different. What they do in duels is a thing called odd and even. So we flip at the beginning, and they get to choose odd and even. So if you look through the matches on the bouts, the odd numbers will get to choose first, and the even numbers will get to choose first on theirs. It's a little bit different way of doing it, but what they found is that's the most efficient, easiest way to do it.
Reversal and a takedown there, and it looks like we got a pin near coming here for green. We don't see any.
He's got to get both shoulder blades down the knees.
He was starting to pull that left shoulder blade,
He's
and
getting
then
out a little bit, and then got stuck.
Here in the Haven 220 bout, looks like I see this one won by green in a fall, 53.8 left in the third. And now we'll have an Ellenwood exhibition match.
Looks like we're going to have Trace Ritterhouse and I believe headgear, long distance away, Kaysen Merritt. Might need to buy myself some glasses after this.
Wrestling at the 138 here.
138 and 145 looks like. Yeah, this is another exhibition match. I know that in practice, Coach Roberts, he does a lot of competitions and pushing yourself to. If you want the spot, you have to go fight for it. So I know that these kids are in other weight groups, and I know that throughout the week they do competitions and they do vigorous exercises to push each other. And at the end of the week, we find out who gets that first varsity spot, and the other person will be on the other side of it.
Ritterhouse in the red, Merritt in the green here in this matchup. 1:45 left in the first, and we're going to see 2 points awarded green here. Rather quickly here into the match as well.
So another thing is when you are on top, you have to keep moving. That was a nice slam there by Trace. When you're on bottom, you have to keep moving at all times. There is, if you sit there and you kind of go into the, you know, what my mom used to call turtle mode, you get inside your shell and try not to get out of it, you will get hit with stalling. That's where you are not doing anything and you're trying to keep them from doing anything without working. Right now, Trace has a half in. It looks like he's going to keep running it over. To get out of this, you actually have to look the opposite way. It's a weird, that's what I tell the kids every day. It's a weird thing, but you just have to look the other direction and just fight it off. Most people's instinct is to, as odd as it is, look at danger. You want to look at what's coming towards you, but in wrestling, a lot of things are looking the opposite way and feeling.
Still no score change. There's still a 2-point advantage in favor of Ritterhouse over Merritt. About 30 seconds left here in the period.
Right there, Kaysen went for a reversal and missed it. and a fall by Trace. Going to those guys, I have their varsity records here from what Coach Roberts had given me. Trace Ritterhouse just started about a week ago, 2 weeks ago. Was his first match. He is at 0-6 right now, and varsity-wise, Kaysen is at 0-2. I tell these kids, I mean, that's just their varsity record.
Yep.
We've been to a couple JV meets where our kids have excelled and done amazing, and it is awesome to watch. These kids have seen competition. It's no short staff there from what we've seen.
Well, and you mentioned that competition. You look at the Larned tournament last week when they went down to Larned. You're going up against powerhouse and going up against a pretty good powerhouse in Hoisington. Larned's got a pretty good building program. They were supposed to see TMP and Sublette. Neither of them made it to that tournament because of winter weather. Chaparral's a pretty good team down there at Anthony. So you mentioned that varsity record, and they're going up against the heavyweights of 3, 2, 1A and a couple 4A powers there as well.
Yeah, there's not a lot of schools around where we are same size. And I think it's a great thing for these kids. It's a toughness mentality. It's throwing kids out there to the wolves, and a lot of these kids have struggled with it, I will say, up in the mental standpoint. But that's all this is about. This sport is all about mental toughness rather than physical toughness. And it's shown these kids they have a lot of grit and they have a lot of desire. Couldn't remember if he said this was the 285s I was looking at. They have 3 of them.
I want to think this is the 285. I think it's Cooper Williams versus Keaton Loop out there.
That's what I was thinking.
If it's not Keaton Loop, it'd be Landon Johnson if they were to give that varsity spot to Loop. Loop, the senior, Johnson, a junior, Williams, Johnson, a sophomore, Williams, a junior here for the Haven Wildcats.
And that appears to be the end of the exhibitions. We will get started here in just a little bit with the varsity duel. We are the first 4 bouts that are going to happen. We are open, or they are open, and on one of them we are both open. So right now they're going to meet through center, and like I said earlier, this is where they do the coin flip to find out who's even, who's odd, who's going to get the chances first.
Pretty good crowd on hand tonight for the first wrestling duel in Ellenwood history.
I'd try to start counting, but I'd lose track after 10. Can't use my other digits.
I was about to say, the old formula at Barton, whenever they'd figure out how many fans they've got, is the number always ends out in a 7. I think there's a solid 130, 140 people here.
I would say so. This is a good turnout.
Can't ask for anything more out of this so far, and pretty good turnout here tonight.
Up first at the 106 weight group, which will get started here in just a little bit after they tell the table workers how it's going to go. We are open at 106, and they have Hadley Hoskinson. I'm going to butcher a lot of these names. Teaching 4th grade really hasn't helped me learn names. Working on fractions right now, and that's about it.
Have you started on the multiplication of fractions yet?
Yeah, well, a little bit. Right
Okay.
now we're in the mixed numbers, and kids are teaching me more than I think I'm teaching them.
That's not entirely terrible. That means you got some pretty smart eggs in there.
I do. I have some smart eggs in there. They keep me honest. I love it.
So, and with that forfeit victory, with the open class, and with them having a 106, I'd go down as a 6-point victory in favor of Haven.
Yes.
And as you mentioned, we're going to be down 30 points off of those open weight classes already, unfortunately. Hoskinson, a freshman for Haven. And Hoskinson gets the wave around. It's now a 6-0 dual score. See the.
So the 113 will be open. So there will be no points there distributed between each team. So we're going to move on to 120, which is open for Ellenwood. And there's Jacob Moore.
And that makes your dual score 12-0 favor of Haven.
Next is open for Ellenwood once again. And we have Dustin
Lowry?
I think.
Lowry?
Yeah, we're going to go with that one. I like that one. Yep. Now,
and
here is our, I want to say our first one, unless they move somebody.
We will have a meet here. It's a 132.
132. Looks like we have Braden Williams from Ellenwood.
All right, Braden, let's go.
And we have Ryan Loop is what it has on the bout. We kind of have two Keaton Loops here on the roster. Braden Williams is varsity record at 2-7. This right here is a varsity, which will go towards the record that is put out later on when we go to districts.
Williams in the red, and in the green we'll have Loop.
Braden, what I've noticed, is a very aggressive wrestler. Right there, the guy just shot in, which he is doing a thing we call the wizard. You can call it the wizard, depending where you're at. And he just got taken down. So now red has a takedown, which is 2 points. On bottom, what we tried to teach the kids at practice is to base up, which is out when you're on your knees and hands. And it gives you so many more options to get up, out, get your points, get a reversal. And it keeps your back about arm's length away from on the mat, which is one of the nice things.
Loop trying some head pressure there. Almost got something there, trying to get out of it.
So right now the guy's trying to do a cheap tilt is what we call it, so you can get a couple free points. He's got to kick his legs out of there as hard as he can, try to slip his head out, which he's unable to do.
So that pin will come 48 seconds left here in the period.
Next is 138. We have Cale Batchman from Ellenwood, who is going against Gavin Moore from Haven.
Now, Batchman and Matthew Cook are the two kind of rarities. They had some wrestling experience before heading into high school wrestling here. Batchman spending a year or two over in Great Bend. Got a pretty good youth system over there with the Panthers.
Yes, and this year he is, right here I have him at 6-3 on varsity. And I believe I was told he's up to about 11-12 total with JVs there also. Cale is a very aggressive wrestler, and these lighter weight groups, you're going to see different wrestling than you're going to see later on at the heavier weights. The smaller guys are a lot more flimsy. They can move a little bit better. These guys are able to do things that most people don't know that you can do with your bodies. Right there, Cale went for a shot, threw him under. Looks like he's going for either what we call the snake, or he might throw a headlock, which he just threw in.
He's got that headlock.
He's got to hang on to that one and keep his hips to the side, and he should be able to stay on top and get his 2 points.
Well, they go outside the rim again, though. Here's the 130 mark. It's been the rest of these matches were going pretty fast-paced. This one is so far it's kind of slowed down the pace here at the 122 mark.
And you'll notice whenever you get some matches that are very head-to-head, very even wrestlers, you will see it lasting like it feels like forever. Right there, Kale just got picked up and slammed. But he did that as perfect as possible. You got to hit, get to your belly. Kale is one kid I will say on the team that I've noticed a lot is he's one of those silent leaders.
Yep.
He's not going to be the one hooting and hollering. He will be the kid, though, that if you ask him to do something, he's going to do it at the best ability that he can. And it has shown. He has done very well this year, been competing really well.
Moore did get 2 points there on that takedown. The score is in favor of him at the 38-second mark. He got those 2 on the takedown.
So right now the other guy is going for what you can call it the arm bar. There's different things you can call it, anything, depending on where you're at in the state and the program you're a part of. So right there, when they push out of bounds, you have to have at least 2 points of contact. That could be 2 for Kale or 2 for the other guy, but you have to have 2 points of contact between the 2 guys at all times in the mat. Some officials kind of push that boundary a little bit, which I can see. If it's going well, something might happen quickly. But a lot of kids, you try to stay towards the center of the mat, gives you more freedom, more room to do moves. So right now with the short time, Kale should be trying to get out of there, take a risk, make a move. There's not enough time out there to get pinned. Just one of those mentality things that I know Coach Roberts has pushed these kids, and they do an awesome job at.
And here it scores 2-0 in favor of Moore here after 1 period of play. Batchman will be on top here to start the second period.
There we go, good mat return by Kale. So there is no reversal yet. Now there is, because he got back behind the hips. Just because you do get out, you can get a point for escape, but you have to get separation between the bodies. As long as you have a body part touching his, you cannot get your point. Some coaches like to just get away and start over. There are some who like to keep that connection, keep doing something, working for a move. Right now he's going for a single chicken wing, which is one of the most painful things I think I've ever been in my life. To get out of this is just more of a stubborn act. You have to look away, get your arm free.
Looks like he might be trying to go for the double. He's got one hand pinned behind his back. He's trying to get the second one, trying to get something going here. Maybe trying to go for a pin. Minute left. Scores 4-0 in favor of Moore of Haven.
Kale is doing an awesome job on defense. I know that just at Larned, I haven't been at a lot of the meets this year, being really busy, but Larned, the defense was amazing. Here is the chicken wing, so Kale needs to try and stay on his head and bridge out or kick all the way over, which could give him the opportunity. There he kind of got stuck and slipped into something. So right now he needs to swim into the guy really, really hard and trying to get his left arm back and just keep rocking back and forth, hoping to get that shoulder free or head free.
And we will see him taken down by a pin there. 22 seconds left in the second period. Makes these dual score 30-0 here in favor of the Haven Wildcats. Now we'll see the 145 matchup.
Looks like we got Cody
Weavy.
Cody Weavy and Rylan Wirtz.
Wirtz only a sophomore for this Ellenwood team. You look down at this Ellenwood team, only 3 juniors, 1 senior. Pet's the lone senior at 182, and then you got your juniors in Cook, Batchman, or excuse me, so just two juniors, Batchman and Cook at 138, 152 respectively. There's a lot of upside youth-wise on this program here, on the starting list.
And this weight group Rylan's in, it's one of those weird oddball weight groups. You get kids like Rylan who has length and just leverage, and then you get some kids who are really short, stocky kids. That's what you're going to see a lot in wrestling. That's the best part of it. You get kids of different sizes, different areas. Right now, Rylan and the other guy are tied up. So when you're in this position, it either opens up something, so Rylan needs to grab his hips or throw a headlock with him. There you go, got out of that one. Right now it looks like he's trying to go for the head and ankle. That's what we used to call it. You could call it an ankle pick. You could call it anything. It's when you grab that head and you slam it down. Try to bring his knee up to his head area and then push him over, tip him over, find a way to get some points off of it. For someone with as long arms as that kid's got, there's amazing things you could do out there with me and my little T-Rex arms could not accomplish.
Minute in, still no score here between Weavy and Wirtz. They've kind of broken off here, readjust the headgear and get back to sparring.
And when you're in these situations, it's really just a big thing about feeling. You know, I tell a lot of kids, I said, after you leave this class, after you leave wrestling, you should be really good at physics. I said, you got to know about angles, you got to know about leverage, you got to know about feeling. You know, that's the biggest thing about these kids that they've learned, I think, is wrestling isn't a thing where you go and say, I'm going to do A, B, and C. It's one of those things where you don't know what's going to happen, and you're kind of given opportunities and see how you handle them. And our kids have done well with that adversity and the situations they've been put into.
Scoreless here after one period. Weavy was trying to go for some sort of takedown points before the end of the period, but could not get anything to go. And we're going to see here, Wirtz going bottom to start this off. Weavy on top here to start the second period.
You'll see this a lot. A lot of coaches put their kids down first. If you're on top, you can give up a point if he gets free, like Rylan's about to. If he just runs away, he's got to flip his hips into him. Get some separation. Rylan could get 2 points if he gets that guy off of him. Rylan needs to get that head out and drive. There it is. Rylan did get a reversal right before they did get outside. That was an amazing move there by Rylan.
And that'll put the Eagles up 2-0 here. Again, Wirtz over Weavy. 140 mark here in the second period. And we'll see Wirtz here on top.
It's a similar situation. You want to grab his wrist and you want to control that. I mean, as a person, when you have your wrist, stay on him. When you can't do anything with your arms, it's a hard thing to do when you don't have your arms.
Then when I was about to say, you take your arms out of the situation, you pretty much control it there. Only decision there, you could get something if you got your arms behind you, or if you got your arms pretty much taken care of. You can try with your feet to get something. And we're going to see here, looks like a penalty warning here, possibly. They're going to give that penalty point to Wirtz. So, penalty there on Weavy. That makes the score 3-0 in favor of Ellenwood.
Looked like he was reaching up, trying to grab that headgear off. You can reach up, put your hand on the headgear, but the moment you put your hand inside or try to roll it out, pull it off. They usually do call that, which is right there, what we call a caution to a penalty point. You can only have so many of those. I don't want to tell you the number because I don't want to say the wrong number. So you only get a certain amount of those.
Wirtz are trying to go takedown here.
Got 45 seconds. Right now it looks like he's trying to go for the near far side cradle.
Fell out of bounds before anything could happen. 39.2 left here in the period.
Right there, the official has his arms together. We see his back, but he has his hands locked up. Put him above his head. You have to have, by rule, you have to have a head and an arm before you can lock your hands together. So that is a locked point or a locked hands penalty. So 1 point was rewarded to the Haven wrestler, which then was given. So once you get your point for a penalty, if a move is made, then you can continue wrestling the match like we just did. So Ryland was able to get his points for a takedown, which puts him now at 5-1 at the end of the second. And you'll see this a lot too. A lot of coaches used to wrestle, probably still wrestle some of them. But you'll see a lot of them that go over there to the officials. It's really, when I first started, I always thought it was one of those things like, that's not what you're supposed to do, is question the officials. But the officials have actually said that they love it when the coaches do that. It helps them be reassured in points. These officials aren't perfect. I mean, I referee basketball, and I like to think I'm perfect at what I do, but I am not.
Score is right now 5-2. Wirtz over Weavy. Take a short break here before the third period.
Looks like he called for injury timeout for the Haven wrestler.
So Weavy just getting a little bit of a breather here. Meanwhile, Coach Roberts going through some technical details there with Wirtz, because the lone points there that Wirtz was giving up were penalty points there, both of them. So just technically needing to clean some things up here.
It is 5-2, and this is where Ryland's strong suit is being very physical. Dealing with him during football and things like that. He is just a very physical human being. He likes contact. He loves stuff like that, which, like right there, he could have given up an easy point, but it was very gritty to get that back. 1 point rewarded to Haven, which has been switched over to a 2-point takedown by Ryland just because of body positioning. Right now, he needs to get his hip all the way over to the other guy's hip when you do a cradle. Because right now, if he does not get that hip there, he could actually pin himself, which is happening really close. Get down to Ryland.
Minute 12 left to go. Score is now 7-3, and add 2 points there for Ryland. Make it 7-5. They add the points there for Weavy.
Right now, Ryland needs to get out of bounds and pull him with him. Perfect. We got about a minute and 2 seconds left here. This is where the body starts falling apart. Your mind starts going everywhere. You just endured, 5 minutes of just pure adrenaline, blood pump and everything like that. So right now, this is where it shows who has more, who knows more, and who knows how to find those finite details. Right now, if Ryland gets away, that'll help him tremendously.
Couldn't get the reversal, or Weavy still had a leg, but he's able to make the 180.
So Ryland needs to get that leg free and flip his hips around, get his leg out, and he can get 2 points right away. So right where he is, that official has that hand out holding it. That means he is not to where he has position yet. If Ryland would just flip his hips right there, he gets another 2 points, bumps him up at the 9-5.
35 seconds to go. Looking to go for the pin here.
Right there in that position, Ryland needs to just look into the guy, flip his hips the other side, and just drive him like he just did. Needs to keep going, put the half in, and Ryland could get a stick here with 13 seconds left. That would be huge here for our Ellenwood Eagles, getting another 6 points up on that board.
Trying to get something going here. 5 seconds. And they're going to got pushed out of bounds there. This would have been just a foot inside. Getting close to a
very close
to a pin
there.
situation.
Had that kid in a weird position. I don't know if he would have gotten out of it without that whistle. Right now we have 2 seconds. Statistically speaking, this is something that's going to be really, really hard to get some points off of. Ryland just needs to ride it out, hang on, and you get his hand raised here.
That'll do it. The Ellenwood Eagles, just like that, score their first team points in the duel, as Wirtz will get the victory by decision over Weavy. Your final score 9-5. Ryland Wirtz there over Cody Weavy.
That bumps him up to 3-5 here on the varsity season. They have wrestled, I believe, before. Just by the reactions of the other kid, I don't think that's how it went last time. So that just shows our boys are getting a lot better every single day in the wrestling room.
And you mentioned that competition. They will see an entirely new crop of competition on Saturday. The guys head to Oberlin, the girls head to Wichita West.
It is a long haul. Right now we have Matthew Cook at 152 going against Paxton DeBoard, if I said that right. Yep, DeBoard.
We mentioned it earlier with Batchman. Cook with quite a bit of wrestling experience at Haven and at with I believe Meade Fowler in there as well. He's been one of those kids wrestling since a very young age.
Yes, right now he just threw him in a headlock. That is one thing as a wrestling coach you're always worried about right there. If you get it slipped in, you'll get thrown out of it. He needs to look away and keep rolling his hips and he can get out. Get your two, there we go.
Get pushed out of bounds here. Score right now, the 135 mark is right now in favor of Haven and DeBoard. Paxton DeBoard 4-0 over Ellenwood. Referee's going to go over, signal 1 point for Cook, so make it 4-1. DeBoard go over Cook. Minute 35 left in period number 1.
Again, another one of our wrestlers who's just aggressive. This is a sport you got to be aggressive. You got to take it to people. Just like right there, there's not a lot of kids who will shoot right away for that shot. But Matthew's one of those kids, he's a go-getter. He's just going to keep going, like right there. He's going to get his 2 points. He's going to be able to pull that kid back onto his back here pretty quick.
Makes the score 3-4 to DeBoard over Cook. A really good start, a really good response here after going down 4-0. Cook with 3 consecutive points here for the Eagles and for himself.
Right here we're going for the cheap tilt. You pull the head down and you kind of roll them over it. We used to call it kind of like a wheelbarrow thing. You stop the front wheel and you just flip the body over it. There he is. Matthew's got him in a half Nelson. This is one of the most generic moves you'll see. I watch a lot of college wrestling sometimes, and they do the same thing there. One of those tried and true. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Going for the wheelbarrow again. Talking about half a revolution.
It's really hard for me to not yell and scream as I'm watching this match. This table here is kind of holding me back. Right now, Matthew, what he should do is grab that kid and put head pressure. When you put head pressure, it's one of the worst feelings, and it opens up, like what we used to call, opens up a toolbox. And it just gives you options on options. Right now he's going for the cradle. He's got about 3 seconds left. Doesn't look like it's going to happen this period.
Through 1 period of play right now, DeBoard over Cook 4-3. That is your score here just through 1 period. Cook's going to signal down, try and go for the reversal to start off period number 2, get back in the lead. Get some more points on the team score. Right now, team score is 3-30, Haven over Ellenwood. Ellenwood scoring their first points in the duel with the Wirtz decision over Weavy.
Right there, the official blew the whistles. Right there, Matthew just needs to keep running and tie it up. Now this is Matthew's strength right here, is him being aggressive, being able to kind of manipulate people into something like that. He got his leg into a leg turk is what we call it. You want to hook up your leg. So if he keeps driving, there he is going to get his 2 points.
Now make it 6-4 Cook over DeBoard. Looks like Cook's trying to go for a cradle of some sort. He's got the left leg.
He's got the cradle, but you got to be able to hook those up. If you're not able to hook the cradle up, they're just ones. We used to call them kind of like a suicidal cradle because you could pin yourself, you could pin them. Kind of a 50-50 chance there.
Gave up a point to DeBoard. DeBoard gets the escape.
Threw him in a headlock there, has his shoulders down, and we're starting to get near fall counting points. Once the official gets to 5, he's going to get 3. And it looks like we've got him stuck. If Matthew can just put his hips down and keep him low, he needs to grab that arm up top, and he actually needs to get that left arm of his out underneath. There it is.
He's got it. He's got the pin. Matthew Cook gets the pin. 47 seconds left in the second period. That'll give the Eagles 16 points. Make the score 30-9. Haven over Ellenwood. The Eagles starting to claw back into this one here, but did that open weight put them too far out?
Next at 160, we got Cooper Gunn against Riley Loop. I guess I said the wrong name earlier. This whole reading thing. Earlier up in the 132, that was Vance Loop. Now we have Riley Loop.
Next up on the mat, 160 pounds, Riley Loop of Haven, Cooper Gunn, Ellenwood. And you look at the Loops, Keaton, Riley, and Vance trying to build Like what the Ball brothers had at Hoisington, you had on one end of the Central Kansas League, now they're trying to build it on the other end. Start this thing off, 2 points given there to Loop over Gunn.
Right there, the guy's got his arm backwards. I know it looks really painful, but it's one of those things that is very, it's very tedious. That's something that the officials have to watch a lot of. Is the placement of arms and joints. The one thing as an official they're told is you can go with a joint, but you can never go against it. That's kind of the rule for cautions and illegal moves and stuff like that. Right now, Cooper needs to try to get that hand out.
Loop here will get the pin.
The minute 16 left in the first.
I'll put the team score 36-9. Haven over Ellenwood. Up next, it's the 170 matchup.
We have the younger Hammocky,
Yep.
Nathan Hammocky, and Wade Lahair. Is that how we pronounce it?
I'm trying to find him here on my roster here.
I know it's not in order, and it kind of threw me for a loop there.
I was going to say, Wade Lair looked like he jumped up a weight class. They had him on 160 in the program. Going up against Nathan Hammocky. Now, full disclosure, Nathan is my younger brother. So, try not to sound biased in this one, but best of luck to me to try not to be
go for
unbiased. Neither team really going for any move there. Nathan trying to slam down on the shoulders. Couldn't get anything to go. Minute 30. Now Nathan's got a arm there. Readjustment of the headset there for Lair.
Nathan being really aggressive trying to get that takedown.
Trying to bring them both down to knee level. Lair trying to shoot in there at the 106 mark. And Hammocky with an arm trying to get something at the minute mark, and now we've kind of gone to a hand battle here at 55 seconds.
There you go. So Nathan needs to snap that head down, get behind, and he should be good. So right here we're going to call for a crossface. It's when you push your hand right there, and you get him turned to get behind, and there it is, Nathan with two.
So Hammocky with the 2 points there at the 36-second mark there. Trying to get something going. Apply some head pressure.
There it is, run into him, out.
And 2 points there for Lair, so tie matchup at 2-all. 23 seconds on the reversal.
Right there, Nathan needs to get his hand free and needs to look into him. Those falls are some scary things when you're supposed to fall and grab and pull, and sometimes the best thing is to do what he just did, just get back to the mat and start back.
They're giving some more pressure, 4 seconds to go. You don't really see any points scored here. And tie score here after 1 quarter play, 2-all between Lair and Hammocky.
Hammocky defers. He will take in the third period.
And Lair will go bottom.
I believe when I was talking to Coach before, the last time we dueled against Haven, it was 52, I think, 26. So that's what we were talking about today is, get better. Lower their score or raise our score. Either way, we need to work as a team and get that to be a possible situation.
You've got that 30-point mark there that you've got. His hand trying to get something going.
Right there, he needs to grab that head and arm, get a headlock.
Minute 40 to go, no points awarded. Score tied at 2 still. Hammocky's leg taken there by Lair. He's on top, but
get some head pressure. Make him let go. Need to work on that thing. It's just that whole pressure system is just something you wouldn't really think about doing. What I told a couple kids, it'll be Cole Petz and Jonathan Mace. I told them is apply pressure where pressure hurts. Do to others that you don't want them to do to you, and usually it'll work.
And we'll have Petz and Mason in those next two matches, the 182, the 285. 1 point awarded there to Lair on the escape. So it's 3-2 now in favor of Lair over Hammocky. 52 seconds left, period number 2. Bit of a hand fight here now, going at 43. And back to battle here. Lair trying to grab the back of the knee. Get something going. Now he's got him.
Nathan's got about 25 seconds here to get through it. There he is. He's got his 2 points.
And he's got the reversal there, make it 4-3 Hammocky.
There it is. Nathan needs to get his hips out, and he needs to walk around that kid, and he should have it. There he is. That's perfect. He's got a leg ride that he had for a little bit there. There's Nathan.
Something going here. But can't with less than 10 seconds to go. So now, start of the third period, 4-3. Hammocky's going to choose bottom here in the third. Trying to go for the reversal. Final 2 minutes here this period.
Get your arms free, get your legs free, and run. There we go. Right there, Nathan could do what we call a fat man's roll. Is you get your arm free, grab the head, and you can roll him over to the other side. It's one of the very difficult things to do. Nathan's caught in what we call the butcher, or you can call it the bundle or anything like that. One of those other things, and Nathan's doing it perfect by trying to get his head on the mat and get his shoulders off of the mat. 3 near fall points awarded to Lair.
Make it 6-4 Lair over Hammocky. Minute left here. Minute 5 left here in this game. Lair applying some head pressure. Hammocky trying to get back up.
And get some points here.
He's back up.
He's got to roll into him there, and he could get those 2 points for a reversal. Nathan's got 30 seconds to keep controlling it. Grab that hand, rip it off.
Go out of bounds here, 20 seconds left. Here, if Hammocky can get something here, whether it be the takedown or the reversal, find ourselves in a possible overtime situation.
Nathan stood up there pretty easily, needs to flip inside to him, get his hips out. Nathan's got about one more chance to get in and out of there.
That'll do it. Final score there. Lair will get the victory. Wade Lair 6, Nathan Hammocky 4.
It was a very good match all the way till the end. A lot of opportunities to succeed, a lot of things, those little tiny things to work on, but it was an awesome match. Up next, if I could keep my phone open, we have at 182, we have Cole Petz for Ellenwood and Braden LeBlow.
Yep.
All right, we're going to go with it. Executive decision.
Score goes to 39-9 Haven as
This is our lone senior. One of the big leaders of the wrestling community that we have here on the team. Most kids senior year, I wouldn't try something brand new like this, and for someone like him to come out here and really push these younger kids, it's really put him in a leadership role. Something that was destined for him was this sport. Something I wish he could have had years and years ago, and I tell him that all the time. Right now, Cole's trying to get that arm, trying to work on something. So Cole is up 2-0. Cole has a varsity record of 5-2 this year. I will say our varsity records, we don't have a lot of numbers on there. When you combine it matches-wise, we have done a couple JV matches earlier in the year. That was just for our mat time and our experience level. Right there, he just threw him
something
in a
going.
thing called the snake. Cole needs to look up, put his hips
Go
down.
for the pin.
Cole should get this one right now.
Yep. Pets get 6 points there by pin. Now put the Eagles score at 15. 15-39 to score in favor of Haven. That came at the 1:02 mark in the first quarter, so 58 seconds there on the mat, and it's taken care of. We'll see
Got a 195. We are both open for that one, so there are no points thrown out there. Next is 220, and it is Ellenwood is open again. So Tyler Rogers is going to get his hand raised and an additional 6 points towards Haven. And then up next is the heavyweight. This is the 285-pound weight group. We have Jonathan Mason from Ellenwood and Keaton Loop. So this is the third Loop boy that I think we've seen tonight hit the mat.
Team score right now, 45-15 Haven. We'll see the 285 matchup here. And this isn't the only duel that we'll see here in Ellenwood. 2 weeks from today, the 27th, we'll have another one here. I believe they're taking on the Indians of Larned High School. Larned, another tough competitor in the Central Kansas League.
These heavyweight matches are more of a brute force and strength situation. The younger guys are more of leverage and quickness and flexibility. So it's a different style of wrestling. These bigger guys, they have to learn how to, work with their body, keep their hips, keep their feet. What my coach always told me is be kind of where your feet are. If you're where your feet aren't, you're in a bad situation.
This is a lot more aggressive from the 285 matchups that I've seen in my day, albeit I'm used to watching these on PBS. Smoky Hills Public Television will broadcast the 3-2-1A state tournament, and I'll always watch them. Of course, now living in Nebraska, I don't know what all they do with NET and the state wrestling tournaments.
Make sure you eat some runs this while you're up there.
Oh, don't worry.
I miss it down here about 2 hours south. It's not as fun anymore.
Well, they're building one in Concordia. That's pretty close to build.
That is close to home. I'm kind of jealous. Might have to have my dad ship some up here.
Exactly. Every time I go home from Kearney, there's always a dozen runs that are coming home with me.
Maybe I need to get on that list.
I think, I was about to say, I think you and I think about every other Nebraska transplant to Borton County.
Yeah, these heavyweights are one of those more of, like I've told John a lot, I work with him in practice a lot. Really makes me think about how out of shape I am. Good gosh. I was just warming up with him earlier, and I got up here and had a couple kids ask why I was sweating, and I was like, it's happening. So, no, John is one of those kids. He's a lot stronger than he portrays himself to be, and he kicks my butt some days in practice. But yeah, one of these is, if you go down first as a heavyweight, it's one of the harder things to get out of. You got to think these guys are from the range of 285, which now after Christmas you get an extra 2 pounds. So these kids can weigh up to 287 pounds, all the way down to 221 pounds. I mean, you imagine that laying on top of you. There's no way of getting out of it, and it's more of a situational type of wrestling. Looks like John's going down.
Mason trying to go for the quick reversal here, but can't get it to swim. Right on
John's got to get out of there, rip around.
There, get pushed out. 1:43 left in the second.
Looked right there that the kid from Haven had some locked hands. I wish I could yell it, but I can't with this microphone. I really don't want to hurt everybody listening's ears.
Well, we can always turn you down a little bit.
Yeah, surprised you guys haven't done that yet. So right there, that's a move. That's one of, like I said earlier, one of those ones that referee really has to watch into is watching that shoulder and that elbow joint. It is just something just to apply pressure and kind of makes your body do what they want your body to do. He threw in the chicken wing, it looks like. So Jonathan's got to really squeeze those arms down together and keep his hips to see how his hips are rolling over. He's got to really keep his hips down flat on the ground or roll into the guy.
That'll be it. He'll be pin victory for Loop.
It looks like we might have another exhibition match. There are two girls here for Ellenwood that have their headgear and singlets on, looking like they're getting ready to go. I think it is going to be Ashlyn Langdale and Keegan Dombrowski is what I can see from here.
Final dual score will be 51-15, Haven over Ellenwood. And when you think about it, you take those 30 points away from the open matches, and it's 15-21. Just in the overall points. I mean, you can't really complain with it. I mean, that's a pretty good number. First-year team going up against a pretty good team in yes. Haven in the CKL. So, overall, and when you look at it, if you're Ellenwood, you look at it 21-15 Haven. If you look at it Haven, you look 51-15. But that right there shows how big you need those numbers here at the high school wrestling level.
It's a huge thing of filling the weight class. You know, you might not win every single one, which you probably won't. But just having that opportunity to compete, you know, instead of giving them that free 6 points, we can give them 3 or, 4 or 5. It's way better. But just with this group of kids, they are starting something here that is truly phenomenal. I think if you ask each and every single one of those kids sitting over there on those chairs right now, they would say it's one of the better decisions they've made. I can say just for myself, wrestling is one of those sports that single-handedly helped me do the things that I love to do, which are sports.
See a quick fall there. Keegan Dombrowski there with the pin over Langdell in exhibition. Coming at 126. She picked up 2 points via, I believe it was via a reversal there.
That calls for the end of it.
When you look at, and I mean, this Ellenwood program, very young and very good down the stretch, and you think they're going to have some really good success this Saturday at Oberlin. Quite a trek up there to Oberlin for the Eagles, but
very
really
long
good
ways.
Really good experience they're going to get. They're going to get to see some Colorado wrestling. Ray Colorado's making the trip over. Some Nebraska-style wrestling. McCook's going to make the trip over. A few Kansas schools in there. Oberlin, of course. Norton's going to be in there. Norton, a big 3A powerhouse. Of course, Bill Johnson no longer there as the head wrestling coach. He's moved on. But, again, still really good powerhouse there in Norton. I believe Hoxie's also going to be making the trip. Hoxie, they've kind of become the new powerhouse in 3-2-1A with the Porsche brothers. A few other schools in there as well, a big smattering of them. I believe St. Francis will be in there, and a few more. The women head down to Wichita West, and that's pretty much going to be every school east of I-135 that has any girl who's wrestling. They're going to be there at Wichita West.
I just looked at that today, and those girls, I mean, they have gone through a lot of competition. I mean, I will just throw out Keegan Dombrowski right away at that Larned meet. You know, her first match, we didn't tell her who she was wrestling or anything like that, and she pushed this girl, and this girl kept trying everything she had in her pocket, and, you know, we fell short on that one. And then afterwards, we came up and told her, do you know who you wrestled? You know, and she just wrestled the girl who's ranked #1 in the state and undefeated, and just signed a scholarship up at Baker University. And it just shows that we don't know who we're wrestling, but we're wrestling it to our best ability. And then after, when we find out, it's amazing who we're competing with and who we're out there throwing. I mean, we're sparring with some of the best out in the state, and it's awesome.
And, of course, I was about to say, so the women head down to Wichita West on Saturday. The men head to Oberlin. Ellenwood Eagle basketball tomorrow. The Eagles take on Max. We'll have the call for that. And then we'll have another wrestling match on the 27th. I believe Larned Indians will be coming to town for that duel. So the future's very bright for Ellenwood Eagle wrestling.
Yes, it is. I know if you guys are on social media, there is a Facebook page called Ellenwood Eagles. It is with Coach Roberts is in charge of that one. And then there's also one on Twitter where he posts the results and stuff like that. We're trying to get to the point where we can get some live stream stuff, maybe a Facebook Live. But we are trying to throw the stuff out there. If you guys can watch their success. If you're not able to watch it in person or at your computer, if you could at least follow along. Make sure these kids know what they're doing is the right thing. And they just need reassurance, and they'll love it. You'll love it, they'll love it, and it's a community effort right now.
So again, your final score in this one, 51-15 on the dual side, Haven over Ellenwood. You take out those 30 free points that were given to Haven through the open weights, 15-21 in favor of Haven. You got to be pretty proud if you're Coach Roberts seeing that result. But right now it's on to Oberlin Saturday for the men and then Wichita West for the women. And that's going to wrap things up here for wrestling coverage on the Elwood Eagle Sports Network. Make sure to stay with us tomorrow. Elwood Eagle basketball take on the Mustangs of Maxville High School. So we'll have that coverage tomorrow here on the Eagle Sports Network. And that's going to wrap things up. Thanks again, Brett, for joining me here tonight.
Well, you taught me some things. I'm not really good at this whole public speaking, but I guess when I don't have to look at a whole group of people,
And I was about to say, I'm not that good at the wrestling side of things. I go to the Div 2 Powerhouse for Wrestling, UNK, and I haven't been to a wrestling meet my entire life before last Thursday. So,
hopefully I helped you because you helped me. So.
Oh, you did. Do not worry. But thanks again for joining us. That's going to wrap things up for our live